Yeah, but the simple fact that you are going slow, I will assume yes, that everything is as it should be. And I'm somewhat reasonably timed even. That's a good sign. Everything's considered, almost, because I actually don't have as much time to play today as I would wish to. That will be a very strange weekend. I can already tell as much. Not very much to my liking, but alas, I can't change it, and complaining about it is a bit of the definition of idiocy, isn't it? So, now, give me a second while I set everything else up. Actually get myself a canned coffee for once. Now, people need something different sometimes. And I always have the same thing that would get boring rather quickly. Now, let's go back and go in. As you might remember from last time, we are running around doing some horrible nonsense. And from what I can see... Nope, lots of two. What we will do first is talk to actually the leader of this village, because we kinda ignored her last time and just went on a merry way. We have been going on a bit of an adventure. Well,
they've destroyed the stockade, Mother. It's
enough. They're gone.
Cheryl's appendage is missing the final joint of the ring finger, but it's a voice, sharp and steady, that silences the young man.
The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's a long one. Well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged.
Kinda used to this nonsense, you know. He pulls a knife from his belt. Let that knife go away very fast, otherwise I'm going to murder you. Result has to do with Durban's battery.
What's in it, to be exact? Stalwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. For every trader or adventurer that comes through,
follower.
3 of our own leave for
Hitherus. Interesting. Well, thank you very much, I suppose. I was not expecting that, honestly. I was kinda, right in the middle, but you know. Appreciation where appreciation is due. Thank you very much, and well, let's see what other surprises this evening has going to hold. We shall see, of course. Also, I kinda just realized that you go working. Yes, you're working. That for once is actually something I very much appreciate. Where are you? Why is you loading? I'm not supposed to be loading, but alas, it is loading. Yep. I shall accept this as is and continue living.
But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires.
Who the mighty have fallen indeed. Olaf has a bit of a tendency to, you know, bring it to a very simple to understand point. Yes, what an error that must have been for the White March.
Hardwind dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stalwart. But we need the White Forge.
And this is the point where, like, Lure 6, I know of it. Like, I'm a smart kid now.
Then you'll know that no one's felt as much as a summery breeze from the White Forge for over 200 years. I'm hoping you can do something about that.
Yeah, that's something new. Well, so precisely.
We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door.
Well, that sounds like a pain in the ass. Also, if it were that easy, I don't think we would have now steel for 200 years now, would we? Well, tell me what
A
you
dozen
said.
different groups have come through at our request,
Mm-hmm.
and several more besides.
Mm-hmm.
Been hoping that one of them could clear the way through Durgan's battery.
You just said yourself that over 200 years we have not seen anyone using the White Forge, and you're like, well, you don't need to tell me about the results. I am well aware of the results of this
But young
expedition.
or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stone. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the wrong side of a blizzard, or an ogre raiding party.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't really explain of why you have such a sudden interest. I mean, if for 200 years there has been nothing going on here, then why just the last year, you know?
We're an old mining town.
Mm-hmm.
Or we were until the Adirans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mine shaft and something resembling an inn.
Doesn't
Since
seem too
then,
happy
it's
about
been a
it.
steady decline.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship cheaper.
Good point. I guess actually taking west from here would be a pain in the ass and would actually raise the prices. Actually, something many people forget when it comes to prices. Shipping cost. Not much a thing people have nowadays to think about much,
the
but you
White
know.
Forge. Well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel or
Yes,
something
woman,
close to
I'm
it,
well aware.
wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands. Business would come.
Yes, because business always goes where it's need. Can be met. Its needs need to be met. That is how business fucking works. Which is why I'm telling you, if we could exclusively produce Durgan steel, hell yes, that would be business like none other. I'd invest money in that. Well, if I had any money left, that would be, I guess I would start getting involved, you know, more physically. Why are you tossing your apple peel into the fireplace? You're trying to give me a message here, young man.
That's the long and short of it.
Yes, you
We're
need my help.
laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers.
Well, yes, that's all nice and dandy, but you have a mine shaft, so some of you are miners. Can't you take a fucking mine then? And I mean, Jürgen's battery, that's basically a fortress, isn't it? As I can tell you from some history lessons, I do know that tunneling under walls is actually a thing. Kinda interested why nobody's mentioning that. And that would not require adventurers, but quite literally only laborers.
But Durgan steel could put Stalwart on the map again.
Hmm.
Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge.
No, you need the steel to make money, and I want to get involved in it because I want to get money. So why is it so
Because
special
you
then?
can shave stone with it, cleave cast iron in two, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable.
Well, I mean, yes, steel is a very much better thing and a better composition than stone. People would like their weapons made of steel and not stone. For obvious reasons, like weight. And, well, a few other minor things. The same as, you know, why we don't use, you know, just iron for, you know, obvious things. But people get tired of trying to step you off the wall and just give up.
If we
Yeah,
could make
no.
something even half as good, we'd
I
have
would
a
punch you
market
to
at
death
our
just to
doorstep
get your
and
hands
work
on it.
enough for all of Stalwart.
Yeah, but you still haven't mentioned the point why I'm getting something out of this, which is like, I'm going to do all the work, you're getting all the business. How's no one's gotten into the battery yet?
Where should I start? Ogres, blizzards, or sheer damned inaccessibility?
Those are all minor reasons, considering the fact that we're adventurous, but
It
well,
ain't for lack
continue.
of trying, I'll tell you that much.
Hmm.
Got untold riches in Durgan steel lying just inside, and never mind the White Forge itself.
Yes, I kinda mentioned
The
it.
Adirans who first settled Stalwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more metal than sense. But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut, the tower entrances are clogged with rubble, and it's been impossible to blast a way in.
Sounds horribly nice. Have a fun adventure. So what
It don't bear
execute?
dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
Yeah,
Killed
but what's
each
the...
other off. Or so the old books say.
Right, see, that is an answer to my question, and not just a non-answer. Thank you, Aldrich. A good lad.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place.
Yes, but if people understand the history of the place, maybe that is going to shine some light.
Whatever
you know?
it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after, moved to gentler, greener lands.
Yes, I do wonder why you personally haven't done this, but people can be somewhat stalwart, I guess, to make it a bit ironic, considering the naming of the place, but alas.
Had the right idea, if you ask me.
Technically, I would agree, yes, if that is an option, greener places probably better for living. I still don't see why you need the White Forge specifically to make good steel.
Finally, someone talking sense.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stalwart alive.
No, good is enough, actually. The best is not going to sell all that well.
No one
speaking.
alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful, glowed white-hot, and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace.
Oh, come on, there are some good furnaces around.
Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use.
Yes, I know. People like you would take an historic site and be like, I'm going to dismantle it for its materials and then build something with this instead of actually preserving that because, you know, somebody might find that more interesting. But on us, it's always a bit of a battle between the practical-minded people and the more, well, I guess technically romantically sided people. And tell me about those bloody dwarves. What can
Pargrin's a
you tell
word in
me?
their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much
That
more.
doesn't make much sense. Then why are the Pegrons, the traveler dwarfs, the ones who settled in that fucking fortress? There are many questions here that require answering. Much of that. Oh, any idea where I
The
should
battery's
begin?
up the mountain to the north. A good hike away.
Yeah, that's one way of saying me. Go up there.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
Constellation honey lands on her face.
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything.
Who's Galvino?
Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
Woman, please. If sheer foulness of temper would be enough to keep beasts at bay, we wouldn't need any hunters now, would we? I'm pretty sure there's more to that.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer.
Look, see
Who's
there.
lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
I think what you just told me about how bloody unfriendly that area is. That seems kind of surprising, actually. I like the man already. And by the way, it's a flimsy standard, that makes him an expert, does it?
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there.
What a horrible person. So you now fits his left shoe before his right. I mean, whoever does that? Apart from I don't even know and I don't even care because what the fuck should I care? Which shoe you start with? And if you're actually dumb enough to put butter on both sides of your bread, then I'm kinda, you know, but at the point where like, okay. You do you. You seem flustered all of a sudden. Did he do something to anger you? I'm perceptible.
Me and the rest of the town. He knows better than to linger at our gates.
What
Old
happens?
lunatic finally went too far. And we sent word to the Valiant Academies. I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
Ain't nobody here
See.
fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You know, for the fact that you apparently are not interested in the whole idea of getting to the battery, I'm willing to actually give me some reasonable advice there. That's a man to my liking. It's
You said
reasonable.
as much to the last party.
At first I
And we
didn't
haven't
like
seen
him.
hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all. Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales. Belongs to flames that whisper. Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Oh, what gave it away? The fact that they raided your fucking village or something? Do you really need a hunter to tell you, yes, the ogres are active when they are in your village? Raiding it?
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
Yeah, apparently not.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance or the broken stockade.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
When I dealt with Beranga, she agreed to leave you in peace.
Well, I hope she proves more peaceable to you than she did to the last group.
Well, I mean, she was kind of like, okay, I'm going to let you be in peace, so I don't remember saying that, joking with her. I also, actually, now that I think about it, remember that she's a bit of an asshole to her own clan, where she's like, I have a door that would directly lead the adventurers to me, and I could talk with them and make them peaceful. Or I could let them run throughout my whole cave and murder every last one of my clan before talking to them and agreeing to be peaceful. She chose the later. I remember that, because I was there like, bitch, please, come on, what the fuck? Left an impression on me. Not the best impression, though.
Mayhap you didn't hear, but the previous expedition crossed paths with her. Haven't seen him since.
Well, who knows, maybe they ended up in a cooking pot or something.
And I
It's
don't miss
bloody
him
over.
none. Smelled like trouble. You did right in parlaying with Matron Baragon, and that's that.
Ulrich, I think we're gonna come along somewhat nicely. I wasn't impressed first, but you're a good lad, aren't you?
Before you leave town, stop by the Grave's Rest.
Mm-hmm.
Most visitors to Stalwart spend some time there.
Oh, I already did that.
What's on your mind?
What can you tell me about Ferro's expedition?
Sorry, last expedition I met disappeared weeks ago. Didn't give any. Don't mean the Sfeara weren't part of an expedition, though. We get groups. What's on your mind?
Suggest an expedition that didn't say hello, which is not a good sign. I mean, usually the way I imagine is when you plan an expedition, especially one in such hostile territory, you would want to make sure the locals damn well give you all the knowledge they have and can share, because, well, doesn't sound like the area you want to go in unprepared. Do we have anything here?
What's on your mind? Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then.
Honestly, this is a problem, because I don't actually know the world map too well. Now that the White Marches are as far as my local map, my little part of the Direwood that I'm active in is the northern edge, that much I know. But how that actually then comes into play into, you know, the world as a whole, I'm actually not too sure if that would be a reasonable thing, you know, to produce traffic, actually. I can't even say if this is a reasonable, sensible statement.
But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes.
Well, yeah, Defiance Bay is a fucking port town. You can get iron from basically everywhere via ship, which can technically speaking be cheaper.
Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it. Here in the center? Let's see. The Grave's Rest is next door.
You're in.
The fishery's just on the edge of the lake, and the Temple of Andra is next to it. No one keeps a secret like Lavda. A few folk live in this part of town, too. Seemed a lot safer before the ogres broke through the western
gate. If I'm right, the White March is like a day away from Katnua, so it's very close. It actually is this 24-hour travel north from Katnua. So it's actually not far away from the Defiance Bay when you think about it, because Defiance Bay is like another, what, 40-hour travels or so from Katnua, so the route from Defiance Bay up to the north is, okay, let's be generous here and say like 4 days. 4 days travel. And I'm assuming on foot, because the game never implied that my characters actually use a cart or something to travel. Yeah. Not the most safe fish travel route, though. I guess technically it would still be cheaper to get that from the from seaside. Maybe. Kinda depends on how the merchants actually do it, how it goes with taxation and stuff. That's actually a problem. That's what I'm always thinking, like, well, okay, so how much does it cost me to import stuff? How the tax situation? Because I have to deal with this nonsense sometimes. Also, servus, hello, and all of these nice things, Mr. Sandwichback. Good evening to you. I hope it finds you most healthy and most fine.
Thiersch lives next to the old mine shaft. And Tana, the old mine overseer, is next door.
Honestly, I should actually look this up and make myself a little note if I can actually find a world map of this here, so I can actually get everything, because I'm kind of forgetful sometimes, so I do know that where generally most of the countries are, but I'm kind of interested in seeing the whole world around, you know, again. Where are the living lands, where's Direwood, where's Adern and Red Ceres in Lost Bronzes. When somebody's like, well, we saw traffic from both sides, I would very much like to know, yes, is that reasonable? Or are you talking
I'm
nonsense
the mayor.
here?
Or so I'm reminded every time there's a game shortage, ogre attack, or a neighborly dispute. I'm
Yay.
a builder by trade, though. Traveled all over Air Glonfoth and the Deerwood in my younger days, but ended up back here anyway.
It's kind of surprising that you ended up all the way up here again, but no,
What's on
okay.
your mind?
Can you tell me anything about the last
They
expedition?
didn't volunteer much, and I knew better than to ask.
Hmm.
I've seen all types charging through here.
Mhm.
Professional companies with shiny new equipment as brazen as you please, and hopeless runts with nothing but tattered leathers.
Well, the desperate will always try their best. It's a kind of human thing. And I mean, when you have nothing to lose, I guess that is kind of motivating. Although, if you're only wearing tattered leathers, then you're not gonna even get that far because it's fucking cold
But
outside.
these folk, I don't know what they were after, and the way they looked at you made you feel cold all over.
Sounds like the Latin key, doesn't it?
Wish I could tell you more.
Heard enough, I would say.
What's on your mind?
For the moment, nothing. Actually, let me talk to that young fellow up here. He seems to be, having his
You
pet.
did right in parlaying with Baragon. Don't know that anyone else here is gonna see it that way, but I thought you should know.
That is very nice of you to say. Honestly, I agree that yes, it's probably better and a long-lasting solution. Because as long as that matron is going to keep in power, she's probably going to keep that peace going. Far better than if I slay them and, the rest of the Ogres come along, find a bunch of corpses and get even more agitated. That would kind of make a more permanent solution kind of hard. In the long run, you really can do much arguing with corpses. They are very hard and determined and not giving up anything, especially not their position. You know anything about debauchery then, my
It's a
friend?
fool's hope.
Hmm?
A fantasy that's kept these parts inhabited longer than they should be.
It kind of sounds like it actually, considering that according to history, it's some 200 years or so since many.
They say the Pargrunan
Steel came
dwarves
out.
developed Durgan's steel, became powerful, rich.
If it is good steel, then yes, I can totally see
Then
that.
one day, they locked their doors and died.
Yeah, everybody's kind of like, nobody really knows what's happening.
Nothing like a mystery to stir folk up. Most of Stalwart is convinced that some Pargrin secret will save us all. But that don't stop them from whispering a prayer when they pass the old fortress.
People. People are interesting, aren't they?
Something else you need?
Only I said I should make peace with the
About the only
matron.
thing folk here haven't tried. Killing one more matron won't change things for long.
You are damn well right.
Besides, her clan's flames that whisper. The one that attacked us was Wolf with many
Okay, so
mouths.
she wasn't even the
I
one that
know him
attacked it.
anywhere.
You have a good eye, my friend. It's surprisingly how important such minor differences can be.
They're cut from the same cloth, Aldrich.
Yeah, but
Only a
it's like
matter
saying-
of time before Baragon marches through that gap in our walls.
Excuse me for a second. That's like saying, yeah, but every human is made from the same cloth. Yes, but that is not the point. That is not an argument. And there are people, two groups. One group is actively attacking me. The other group is trading with me. If I were to follow your argument, both are the same, because they're made from the same cloth originally. Yay for stereotyping? I don't even know what you're supposed to call this. Idiocy, I would say. I hesitate to disagree with the old woman.
Mother's convinced that a magic forge will turn this frozen crack into a hub of civilization. She can't accept this place is dying.
Well, I mean, that kinda is a problem.
Me, I'd just as soon move on.
It is a very humane thing to keep going, even when it's kinda fruitless, but...
I'm a carpenter, Mother's a builder, so it felt like a good fit at the time. Not that we've got a lot of new folk to build houses and furnishings for. These days, I spend most of my time fixing up the stockade.
I shall.
Well then, I have found another information. Also, since we are now probably going to go... Firstly, we're going to go to the other little area on the map. Yeah. Dash, White March. The Longboard Shores is what I was looking for, but I didn't come up with. Honestly, how the fuck does this even work? Because this does not look like you have much of an exit from the north, the east, or the west side. You can only really come from So, and this only leads to the russet wood and then ends. Kinda looks like, road-wise. Going like we had the traffic from both sides kinda seems strange. Like this road here kinda leads to nothing. This road too. I don't really see where this is going. Which is why I would have a farther outward map where I could see even more. That would be much appreciated. Defiance Bay. I can see why Defiance Bay would not, you know, go through all the trouble.
I did for a while. Then I heard you could make money shoveling pig shit. And thought that sounded better.
Well, at least it would get you out of the deerwood.
Anyway, you're a military man. Ever considered making a career of it? Did for a while, but I heard you could make money shoveling pig shit. Oh, I can see where you're coming from. No, then with one of the new people I picked up, I mean, they're kind of part, you know, of the experience, so I kind of want to have them around. On the other hand, Game's like, I'm not going to let you go there. Some bloody reason. Do we want me to actually go up here then? Instead that game. Okay, game. If you want me to use this specific exit, I will do so. Not a problem. Can I go now? Yes, I can. Now while I go up here and I'm probably going to find some more of those little what were they called? The ones with the more arms and they can use magic. Langfech or something? My memory. The names. Not the best one. No, I will have to give a fair warning while I'm running around here. This one will actually be really reasonably? No, not reasonable. Somewhat short-ish. Because I actually have a full day ahead of myself. Lago Fayette, apparently. Are we French now? One of them decided to run at me at a high speed. I do not like that. So the main problem here is, since most of them can actually use magic, they're going to stay behind. What is the definition of being a pain in the ass? Yeah, yes, you are frozen in place. They are fast, they're eager, and they like to do damage. Yeah. They are indeed the definition of annoying enemies. And he's frozen in place again. Help, neighbors! Hello, neighbor. I don't think the help is probably going to be somewhat difficult to do. But then again, hello indeed, Mr. Strategy Member. Picking stuff up. Feeling good about myself. And I totally dislike the fucking monk class. Maybe autocorrect knows something you don't. He's like, oh, he could probably use some help right about now. Yeah, ever more of them. Yay. Definitely. This composition is definitely not my most preferred one. Just too much in the way of actual melee. Interesting. There might not be any FBI at your door yet. But they might be inside of your PC. Well, or mobile device, or anything else. Who actually knows what they spent the taxpayers' hard-earned money on? I would assume nothing good. Which is why I usually assume. Yeah, that is probably going to get you on some list, believe me. If I know anything about, well, at least the way they're portrayed, I really don't like it when they can't see what you're doing. Yeah, they're worse than your mother at when it comes to stuff like this. Kind of bleeding a bit here. I do not like that. Enemies heavily focused on... I think in the end we are all probably on some list. Somewhere.
These ones are in for a whopping.
No reason to be overly worried, I'd say. Yeah, mostly because it's getting worried. I can't change that. Well, a few more dead creatures. Well, I guess big companies will always try to do what they do best. Collect data, so make sure that they know who is going to, well, potentially buy, sell, or do anything. Sounds
Yes.
remarkably illegal, depending on where in the world you are. I fucking hate that game. Yes, go around, pull even more of them, you. Right, good. Okay, you go over there and, you know, take on another group of people. Yeah, there's that fireball I had ordered like, you know, an hour ago. Yeah, always nice, isn't it? Yes, you're wounding yourself, aren't you? You bloody asshole. Brute mother though. That sounds highly dangerous, doesn't it? You know what, actually make use of your fucking magic for once and give me something nice and magical. Also, that's probably not going to be... Yes, it's too late. Honestly, I believe at some size, this is becoming amusingly hard to foresee what a company will consider as actually useful and what not. What to do. Then again, I should probably focus a bit more on what I'm doing and actually reload it, because this fight is not going in any way, shape or form in a good way. Well, that kind of was what happened when you draw even more enemies into a fight that you're already doing. Well, I say it is kinda really hard. Not all that bad, considering that I just managed to do it once again. Yeah, no. Hey. But alas, you know, would be bad, could be better, could be a lot better. Let's just throw a fucking fireball in there. I don't even give a shit at this point in time. Yes. I could say that heavily magic-focused enemies are not really my preferred cup of tea. Just, you know. And there's the fact that bloody brute mother is actually somewhat, you know, tough to deal with, but alas, could be worse. Sure, well, you have a good one in case we don't see each other again, and I will try not to die too much. Oh, and how? You know what, actually focus on that brute mother for once. Give her a nice little taste of what horribleness we can actually do. Surprisingly, remarkably robust, that little thing, isn't it? Which I do not find pleasing at the slightest. That's because I actually managed to get my main tank down. Jesus fucking Christ, you little asshole of a creature. Will you look at that? Could some of you please manage to murder that thing? Thank you very much. That took quite literally a lot out of me. A lot that I was not even willing to give, mind you. But alas, all well that ends well, I suppose. Yes, it's not going to end well. Again, E-side? E-side winder, as I just tried to mention, is surprisingly not all that problematic, and then you turn friendly for a second, which kind of makes him run away, like... Could you please die? Thank you. Are we going to run back? Don't wait until everybody is feeling somewhat more alive again, because that was annoying. I did kind of underestimate that brute mother just a bit.
Of course.
Just stat-wise, though. That kind of looks horrible. That was where my tentacles was. And apparently my tentacles have decided to leave their mark on the land. But no other reason than that again. Wait. And reminds me, wasn't I saying something earlier on? I kind of lost track of what I was trying to say. Alas, it shall come back to me sooner or later, knowing myself. What's that? A journal. Ruined with mud. Up this morning saw my toes had turned blue. But it only took me now to start the campfire this time. Yay! That's what I thought about stopping. I dreamed of the cave behind the waterfall last night. I think this is where I'll find him. Interesting, interesting. We're talking about a cave behind a waterfall. We shall find something. Potentially. Maybe not. I don't know. The good thing is I did not play this game all that often, which consequently means that I'm feeling somewhat... Everything feels somewhat new. I kinda like it. I mean, as long as they don't have a brute monster, I don't even need to concentrate all that much, but yeah, magic. Magic is a pain. I mean, it's a pain when I do it to my enemies. Well, ever since I found the most gracious power of the tentacle and what it can do to your enemies. Something wrong with it. Take it. You reach in, your flesh tingled in warm water and pull the sphere out. It's heavier than it looked. I have my pearl, don't I? Yes, I have. Also, don't let that just sit there. Even if we don't use it, we can sell that sheet. Very much so. Hot springs. A whole... Damn it, I should actually have named this the hot spring episode, shouldn't I? There's a lot of joke potential just going down the drain, isn't there? Ah, well, shit, too late. Too late. Actually, no, I could technically just rename it, but no, come on. And now it would be kind of ruined. Okay, there's a spirit here, isn't there? And I should take nice little look in there and see what nonsense happened here. It appears we've struggled here, but the evidence is half buried under a thin blanket of snow. Inspect the area. An empty pack lies in the snow. It's been torn nearly in two. So many tracks on the ground. It's difficult to discern their shape or number, but they appear to lead north. Reach out. Your name is Gigadelfo. You've never been more than 20 miles from home, let alone to the White March, and yet you've been climbing steadily higher for a week now. You're so thin, your clothes are too light, and you've barely got another 3 days worth of food with you. But you've never felt better. I highly doubt that. I've only had a handful of fainting spells since you began your journey. Yay. But as many in a single day before. The dreams have been the best part. Despite the frozen rocky ground and the screeching winds, sleep has found you each night and brought you visions of majestic peaks wrapped in snow, cold as but a sweet ache in your bones. As you hike into the wind, you feel that ache spreading along with the certainty that you're getting closer to him, or her, your soul twin. A stranger whose soul mirrors your own, one of the few people in Era who could understand the constant torment of a split soul, and the only person who could help you relieve it. Something approaches with a shroud of snow ahead. You feel a throbbing presence like a heartbeat through linen, and you know. Vision it abruptly. You find yourself staring at their skidding belongings. I mean, we kind of found his book, didn't we? His diary. That was the word I was looking for. Brain has decided that no, you know, let's forget that word. Notebook would also have helped, but alas, no. I don't think there was any cave up here. Let us look what's down there. Some ruins, I would presume, going by what it looks like. Right, now I also remember what I wanted to say, actually. But since I actually have tomorrow well, a bit more than a long day ahead of me, because I actually have to hear some things. Discuss some things and all that such. Oh, okay, so that pissed you off. Oh, sorry to hear that. But today I'm actually somewhat forced to make it reasonably short. Which, at least when it comes to this game, I don't like to do much, honestly. But you know, when you don't have an option, complaining is not really going to help you much, so better just accept it as is. I don't think a horror spell is going to work wonders here. For some bloody reason. What are you doing? Could you please attack that thing, you idiots?
You're not getting through me.
You know, instead of just standing there and staring at it, why don't you attack it? That might help. Also means that I kinda can't make much in the way of promises for, you know, this bloody weekend, because that would be a somewhat unreasonable thing to do. And I'm not much one for making promises that I cannot keep. That is not the right way to do things. Especially because I actually do not know when and how I'm going to be home tomorrow.
I'm here.
Interestingly enough. Such a pain. I really wish things would just, you know, work. That would be nice and dandy, but then I guess in times of bloody fucking corona and state mandated basically ruin, yes, you can't really complain overly much. I mean, no, technically speaking, you can complain as much as you want, it's just not going to change much, which is more a problem, honestly. But alas. I can see a cave. Also kind of means that this weekend is going to be a somewhat interesting experience. For once. Which might as well go all over into the next week, but honestly, I will just have to take it as it is for the moment and see what's going to happen. Could you not, little creature? Could you not? But so yeah, just in case you are wondering why I'm going to enter rather soonish, that has to do with all of this nonsense going on and the fact that things are going somewhat to the very negative.
Onward!
Poisoned! Bit of a pain in the ass, but alas, you know, all complaints. And there are many reasonable complaints here. Especially to the state, who's like, well, you can operate like this, can't you? Like, no, I cannot. This is quite literally not going to work. But no, state is like, I'm sure you're just going to be peachy, aren't ya? No, I'm not. A good thing in these long passes that I'm not the only one who sits here and is like, no, state, that is not how it's working. Actually, many colleagues are very much the same at this point in time, and at some point in the near future, the state will realize a very important little thing. You know, all of those small business owners, we pay an assload of taxes, and if you make it very unattractive for us to continue our business, then many of us will just go and stop doing that. Which also means we are not going to pay taxes anymore. And as much as I had to point it out, but most of the big businesses are actually rather smart in, you know, not paying an ass overload of taxes. For some bloody reasons, they are somewhat good at it. You know, avoiding heavy taxation.
Yes.
Always kind of interesting. I always do wanted to have a very accurate list of actually just how much money businesses below a certain size in, you know, the revenue, for example, giving to the state. State has been very much... No one's in India. Nothing's moving the pack. It's baby Lagufev. Actually, frog myself stuck to its body. You're the first person saw. It's gonna think you're its mama now. Well, I have now a four-armed fish baby. Good behavior for you. You've lost an item. Pearl is set up. You've gained an item. Baby Lagufev. Yay! I have a baby now. Isn't that great? But yeah. Honestly, I'm getting already sick and tired of bringing some fucking real-world nonsense into my gaming time, because it's my fucking gaming time and I would very much like to play games and think about, you know, stuff like in-game policies and world maps inside the game and how reasonable it is to assume that trade actually happens in both directions in this fucking winter town. That is how things should be, if you ask me. Honestly, my genius idea is this. I'm going to clear off all the nonsense, make some actually decisions, make them nice and steady and actually, you know, binding, so that everybody knows where they're at and what they're gonna do. And once we have this nonsense done, for fuck's sake, could you stop doing that? Why? Can you use your magic? Screw everything. Well, I cannot do that. One thing if the system is fair, it's another thing is the system is like, well, I let them cast their spells through everything, not you though. Get fucked. Go home. Then you have this fucking monk class, whose basic pitch move is basically wounding themselves for no bloody good reason. But look at me, I can use my skill by my cool spells and everything. I just need to wound myself to hell back. Because that is working so splendidly in the midst of combat. Means they do damage, don't get me wrong. They do a nice load of damage, yeah. I just get fucking murdercated for it. Please tell me we were on time. Yes, we were on time. What a pain in the ass. Yeah. What a real pain in the ass that is. Oh great, and he's moving out of that because, well, fuck you, that is why. Bitch. I have the very distinct feeling that this area is on its whole not really to my liking. But what can you do? Could you people please murder that thing? For the love of God. Now go ahead and deal with those nonsensical little creatures, please. The sheer amount of healing spells I need to use right now is fucking amazing. Also, I'm very much at the point where I'm like, this party composition is not really good. I mean, they're all the companions you can get up here. Kind of feels like you should use them up here, but you know. Kind of reaching the point where it's like, I don't really want to. So maybe I'm actually going to, you know, take a nice little trip back and get my normal team back. Works a lot better, if you ask me. And it showcases that party composition is indeed an important thing. Also, this is a waterfall. Wasn't that diary talking about a waterfall? Yay, for more enemies. Especially those. Great, just fucking great. That's precisely the sort of enemy I'm very happy to have around. Just as a big no. What the fuck are you doing? Just fucking attack something. What would you please? You're eating damage. Like no one's business. I guess you could start healing again, because that is precisely what you will have to do. And you were too slow. Nope, this party composition success, honestly. Can you please murder that thing at some point in the near future? That would be much appreciated. Yeah. Yes, make this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. That's totally going to not piss people off to no end. Ah, fuck's sake, I kinda boxed you in there, didn't I? And it's a fucking brute mother of all the bloody things. Basically an enemy that does not take any fucking damage from this. Gee, what would happen if I run away?
I stand yet. Leave it to me.
Is this? Yeah, of course, that's a fucking problem. Ah. Why am I not even surprised that it is the fucking brute mother? Sorry, like to point that out, but she is fucking amazingly immune when it comes to fucking magic damage, isn't she? How the fuck did you manage? Oh, I'm not even going to ask at this point. It's probably better, but I think not to ask any stupid questions.
Hey.
Would you at least, you know, get her to fall down, please? Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That is one less problem on my...
Yes?
Hey.
Yeah, if I had more healers, I could probably do something with my monk, but my monk is eating damage like, you know, no one's fucking business. Kinda a bit of a problem.
Hey.
No, then, Mr. Priesty boy.
Hey.
And I forgot to finish that cast there, didn't ya?
Hey.
So could you please kill that Sidewinder? Because that thing is fucking magic. And we don't like fucking magic. Not any longer. You take that. Do you have anything better face? Why do you feel the bloody need to make that thing friendly if with that sort of timing game? This makes you wonder, doesn't it? And of course we're doing it again, because that is totally not annoying as fuck. Nope, no, not in the slightest. You know, a few people could actually at some point manage to... Yeah, actually, I'm absolutely in agreement with you there. That is really not very helpful, is it now? That is the definition of not helpful. Well, thank you for finally murdering those things.
I'm here.
Thank you very much. It has truly been a dastardly test of my patience, but alas, it has ended. Oh, for fuck's sake, why is there an enemy on... Why the fuck is there an enemy on the other side? Also, this looks like we can get to the waterfall. Then expecting some horribleness.
I'll get it open.
You better, yes.
Just like you asked.
Great! You have managed to be very, 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 very useful. Just not. But alas,
Of course.
complaining about that is of course once again not going to happen. Honestly, I'd much rather fight the ogres again. They are mostly physical enemies, and you know, mostly physical enemies are... well, not necessarily okay, but a lot more manageable than magic. Magic can do some horrible things to you. And there's more! Way for ghosts. Yay for paralyzers while standing in the way. Fuck's sake, game. You really don't like to play nice. Sure, paralyze everybody. It's not like I need those people to run around and do damage. At all. In fact, why would we even want that? Yes, yes, why even bother? Greater ice blights. What a pain in the ass they are to deal with.
Tell me.
Being sure I can use my little lance. Yeah, summon a lance. And attack with your lance. Might actually be somewhat useful with this now. Yeah.
Come on now.
The definition of somewhat being, I guess, the whole thing here.
Indeed.
Actually. That's actually not bad damage for once. I'm somewhat assuming though that this is not going to undisturbed attacks for a long while. Jesus Christ. Just stand there.
Durance! He's not moving. Hi?
Oh god, you please stop doing this.
Indeed.
Just fucking great. Let's see if we can do this nonsense again and running
I
away.
need some help here.
You don't say. How much range can those creatures actually have?
Hey, we had some good times.
Okay, this is ridiculous amount of range. I'm just gonna point it out, yes? Look at that. They're standing up here, and they're hitting me down here. That is fucking unreasonable. Putting it mildly.
Oh, come on, not like this.
Everybody dies. 15 days. Yeah, this is the newest one. So I need actually to do some resting before I go up there, because otherwise I'm going to get murdercated. Then I need to actually make sure that my melee is actually getting in range, otherwise they are not really useful. Great.
Indeed.
Great indeed.
That was way too much black sun.
Yeah, I have bloody fucking mongrel and your very nice ideas of getting fucking drugged all the bloody time. Very nice of you. Okay, let's pull them down here.
Onward.
See, we can nicely fight them in ones and twos. Of course, I'm getting paralyzed again because yeah, they have quite literally no other trick in the book apart from fucking paralyzing you. How come you have been throwing out?
What?
Makes me wonder. Yeah, deflection would be nice, but I don't think deflection is the problem here. I mean, you can revive the fallen. I'm just wondering just how much this is going to help me. Watching that is horrible.
Yes.
Like, hey, look at my horribly nice, friendly great ice blight. Which is not that. Again. Could you murder that strange creature, please? If you could get that thing murdercated, that would be very, very, very much appreciated. Can you once again revive the fallen? What a waste of a spell, isn't it? Well, to be fair though, I can kind of feel my brain cells dying with running inside here without a detective. I can't really be asked, you know. That at least works somewhat.
Lava.
Only 2 specters left. Only 1 spectre left. Pain in the ass. Why does this area need to be so bloody heavy? Magic attacks. Really not the most pleasing. And I can absolutely feel myself being fucking unfocused as fuck. But just, you know, kind of making this a bit more difficult than it most definitively should be, but alas. Behind the frigid curtain of water is an alcove. It was flecked with ice. In the middle you see a rough stone pedestal, also glazed with ice from the falls. A cruciform hilt and a tapered blade protrude from the pedestal. Judging from the size of the hilt and the apparent length of the blade, he inferred that it is an estoc. Shemidaria. The alcove and the stone pedestal are little more than dilapidated ruins. Ice pries cracks in the stone and coats the slick floor. The estoc, what little of it you can see, appears to be in better condition. It seems odd that anyone would leave it here. However, as you get close to it, you hear what sound like the screams and shouts of tormented souls. Perception 14. Move to pull the weapon from the stone. Grab the weapon and pull it out. Cross under the falls, gasping as the water douses you. Your breath echo in the small chamber. As you approach the pedestal, you see the reflection of falling water running along the blade. You grip the hilt. The hate, fear, and violence of a dozen mad, gibbering voices fills your mind. You shudder through a wave of mental pain, struggling to hold the voices back. Grunts and cries of agony ring through the tiny space. You keep holding on. You're maintaining a tight grip on the sword, your arms shaking with effort. Eventually, you'll gain a measure of focus despite the clamoring voices. Yet just as your breathing steadies and the cacophony subsides, something pulls your arms forward. It suddenly feels as if you're holding a heavy and painful burden. You could probably pull the estoc free, but it will be taxing without careful effort. Intellect 11, brace against the pedestal to pull the estoc out. Climb on top of the pedestal and adopt the wide stance for better leverage. Inspect the blade. The blade is of a fine, sturdy steel. Peering closer, you see part of a poem written along the blade. 'Tis a traitor's fate to sleep and never rest, whilst knowledge of his deeds stays lodged within his breast. But earnest penance heals the sorrowful man, and worthy action stays the executioner's head. Draw 3. Cling! Yet, when you try to release the estoc, it remains stuck in your hand. You feel something within the weapon grasping at your soul and binding to it. Look at the blade, you see new writing glowing from the metal. The estoc has a smooth, sturdy blade that tapers a needle-sharp point. The groans of a dozen tortured souls ring from the metal, binding the weapon to the hand of its wielder for so long as the curse persists. A few verses are etched along the blade. This traitor's fate, this is the one we read. A new verse appeared when the blade was drawn from its pedal. It reads, "Seek the burning agent made of copper, other stone. Awaken first your essence so that you may atone." Great is like, I'm not going to let you change your equipment any longer. Interesting. A very direct interpretation of the idea of a cursed item. Kinda like it, actually. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a pain in the ass because this is going to be very much bad for my survival rate. And I will now lose an opportunity to block damage. But still, I will admit, an interesting idea. The whole concept of cursed weapons. I like it. And now I will also have to look for something to get rid of that pretty fast. Which is going to be interesting because I have no idea how to actually get this done. Why do you need to give me more fucking ice blights? I hate those things. They are bane of my existence at this point. That's because I have not yet found any good way to actually deal with them. Yeah, this is gonna be a pain. Whoa, for fuck's sake. I was not prepared for that. Its red eyes are clouded like dirty eyes, and its sides heave with labored breath. Rusty plumes jet between its teeth.
Leave. Now.
The only sound it makes is a hoarse growl, but you hear this clearly as if it was spoken language. The beast bares its teeth. Perception 13, you look ill.
I can still peel the flesh from your bones.
Yes, I'm very sure you could. You could try. Drinkos. Sputtering the eyes with crimson droplets, you see something firmer shaped stuck between its teeth. Barely staying on your feet. I think you're too weak to fight me.
Careful. I killed the last wanderer I found in these parts.
Did you eat Jigarera, the young man by the road?
Was that the rodent's name? I only know that he tasted mealy and lean.
He came looking for a soul twin. What did that have to do with you?
Centuries I've lived. I won't share my soul with some mewling youth.
Wait, you're a soul twin. Then why the fuck did you kill
While
him?
he lived, his suffering became mine. And as he drew closer, his weakness infected my essence. I can never be strong while a soul twin of mine lives.
I always felt that if I had a soul twin, you'd be good friends. Not consider the advantages of being able to pummel them. I take it you've been through this before.
Since I was a worm, sudden fits of agony and terror would paralyze me. I was a prisoner to experiences that weren't mine. Eventually, I noticed something similar in my fellow hatchlings. I felt their cries and shrieks become mine as they nipped and flew at one another.
How did you become linked with your sibling? That doesn't
I
seem
don't
normal.
waste my time with the mysteries of souls, what sunders them and how the turning of the wheel apportions them. What matters is power, survival.
That's a very, very easy way of looking at
I
it.
killed as many of the other hatchlings as I could. I felt their pain, but I also felt parts of their souls become mine. I slaughtered and devoured, and the scent of blood drove my siblings into a frenzy. Our nest became a maelstrom of chaos as we fought, dying and feeding
You
together.
kinda brought that upon them themselves then, eh?
At last, only a handful of us were left. We were sickened by all we'd consumed and suffered.
What happened to the hatchlings that
I
survived?
eventually hunted down some of my missing siblings. Others returned to me in other skins and other lives, as that boy did.
Would you have grown stronger by uniting?
Remaining fettered to them, hoping they never think to turn on me. As interesting as this conversation has been, I've had enough of it.
Where he picks at his teeth with a claw and finally pops the leg bone free. Chews on the morsel, with eyes fixed on you. Well, let's try him then. We are probably going to have to load. I can foresee this not going all that well. Why did I knew that the dragon would do some fucking breath attack that does some horrible amount of damage to us? Right. Because obviously he would. And he gets ghost reinforcements. That's not going to work well. To put it very mildly. Because if those ghosts actually manage to, you know, get me paralyzed, like they do, then my healer's out. Yet the fact that my most party is fucking close quarters is the definition of a problem. Very easy to understand problem, actually, when you think about it. But yeah, it certainly doesn't seem like the sort of situation that... no, not with this party, honestly. I will definitely need my normal party for this. If I were to fight it, that is. I guess we can come back later and deal with him then. That seems a lot more reasonable. But right now, no. No. I'm not nearly arrogant enough to believe that I can do this in a reasonable and timely fashion. And I really don't have much of a problem with the idea of sitting here and, you know, playing around with different strategies for an hour or so. Or getting increasingly more frustrated, but still something I would be willing to do if I actually had the time. Which, for the moment, I, funnily enough, don't have. Now then, I remember seeing a few people that I want to murder down here. Well, want to murder is maybe a bit far.
Hey.
Yes.
I would like to point out the obvious, but this too is not working as I had anticipated. I'm really not getting there today. What's about you? You just decide to sit around like a bitch, yes? Great. Problem is, I can't even summon any fucking tentacles beforehand, can I? Yeah. No. This is not going well. Well. Some evenings it's just not how it's supposed to go. Don't get me started on fucking 200 melee weapons. Fuck you, game. I would like my shield back. Instead of using a fucking cursed weapon, that is not a good idea.
Yes.
Now then, how are we gonna do this somewhat nicely?
What? Yes?
I'm here.
Hey.
How can you manage that much damage on my fucking tank of all bloody things? I just like to point out how much of a fucking problem that is if my tank goes down that much. And with that speed. That's the definition of what we in the business like to call a problem. Oh, for fuck's sake. Would you stop paralyzing me like a fucking bitch? That is what we really call a problem. That leaves not much over. You know. Can we do this in any nicer way? No, I don't think actually. Really like to do some free battle buffing, but my game system is kinda not laid out for that, to put it mildly.
How may I help?
Combat only. Yeah, fuck you, game.
Zawa is ready.
No, he's not, and he's a
Zawa is
fucking
ready.
annoyance. I guess I could rest some more. See if that actually helps.
Hey,
Getting a bit more help out of this.
Lava.
For fuck's sake. He is eating damage like a bitch. That's not even funny. Yes, we can bridge in there, can we? No, we cannot. What a pain in the ass that is. That really doesn't help now, does it? Yeah, given that, they are tough little cookies. Yes, I don't know what sort of skill that is, but it is fucking annoying, I can tell you as much. Oops, can you run away? Because I'm sure we have murdered some of them, haven't we? And duplicate, eh? I mean, you would kinda expect them to give it up now and go back to where they were before. They're kinda doing it. Why the fuck are you an idiot? Oh, for the love of fucking God. Come on. The best laid plans ever from a smart AI. Even the player there, if you don't control him directly, is very smart. I mean, he could have stayed back and waited until those doubles disappeared and go back to, you know, where they were before. That would have been very smart. Very smart move. But no, in fact, he has decided that no. Let me run back there and get murdercated. That sounds a lot better, apparently. Can't use bless. I mean, main problem is I can't really... Once he actually gets their attention, he has their attention, basically.
Alright then.
Zawa is ready.
Because even if I send him immediately to cast spells... No, You drop that bitch down, please. If you can. This is not going well, isn't it? Yes, it's not. Now then, if I were to disengage and hide you all the way down here. Let's assume that this time the hero decides to actually stay away. Yeah, let's just assume that for a second. I don't think we're gonna win this in one.
I shall.
Yes, you shall. Now then, are those just going to stay around? Actually, are they going to disappear? That is something I would kinda need to know. I mean, I guess I could use some healing items, but I really don't want to. And I want to save those for you now. Actually, do I even have one? Yeah, I have minor endurance and minor regeneration. That's not much. 1 per stronger turn. Are your duplicates just going to stand around there?
Indeed.
And I'm eating too much damage. That is definitely the worst possible character. For that. You know what? Let's not bother with that. Because I'm kind of running out of time. Ugh. What a pain it is if I have a full Saturday. It's not getting any better. What of this nonsense. Let me make then a little note for myself so I actually remember what to do.
And then you hit your own father?
Not I. That was Isilmir.
Yeah, but you're the same person.
Fine, cock's feathers to that.
I see your point.
Yeah, that's run away very heroically towards Starwatch. Sometimes the retreat is the only offensive you can take. Come on.
It's high time for some rest.
Shut up about your rest. Rest needs to be deserved. You do not deserve rest yet. You have camping supplies. You have camping supplies. And lockpicks. Now then, let's take a nice little rest actually, so we can recover. From all of this nonsense, and then, well, then we shall see, shall we not? Might actually be at the point where I need to use some fucking items once. Yeah. Well. Kind of feel like I don't have much of an option. Yeah, sure, give me the golden whale. I'm actually sure I can afford that. Now, start again. Very much heroically. Now then, I've made myself a nice little note here, speaking that I need to murder some
even bother you
dragon.
that most of your people died.
Then Alpaska learn to embrace death.
And the remaining
Little
few were
group
enslaved?
of annoyances.
As long as the spirit is free, bonds of the flesh do us
Shut up, you are
You've
useless.
got to tell me
I
how
don't
you
like
do
monks
it.
in this game.
I will show
Fucking
you.
wounds.
Come, let us find a mass grave to sleep in.
Yeah, no, thank you. But yes, since I actually have a full day ahead of myself, away, and a lot of other nonsense to deal with, I will have to bid you adieu for the moment. Have a good one with all of that, and I would like to promise you that I will be doing a bit more tomorrow, but that would be quite the disastrous little promise to make that I cannot keep, so I will not. I'll see how this turns out. But if I actually get everything sorted out, I can at least then start making a new schedule that is probably going to work. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? So yeah, without much further ado, sadly enough, I shall end it. Is there anything else? Not really. Then, well, thanks again for dropping by for the Restore sandwich bag. Very nice, yeah, as usual. And there's the strategy member also dropping by. Very nice, very nice. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to order some nonsense at this point and get this probably at some point. Get that done, because that is probably also something that is hindering me quite a bit in any endeavors I might have. Oh well. But yeah, tomorrow is probably going to be only the stream. Most likely. If I manage anything else, well, I guess you'll see. So, feels somewhat unsatisfying. Honestly, I would like to invest some more time here, but I guess also that sort of thinking is what kind of makes me impatient in combat right now, which is not good. Alas, bye-bye for now. It will have to be.